Hi, my name is Mary Fashik. I am a disability rights activist and the founder of the disability justice movement, Upgrade Accessibility. What caused disaster preparedness? Disaster preparedness can mean different things depending on where you live. For me, it means being prepared for storms, particularly hurricanes. I have been through several major storms since living on the coast of Georgia, and each of them have come with a very unique experience. The first time my roommate and I evacuated, we drove over 2 hours west to a shelter, only to find out that it was already at maximum capacity. We were given instructions to go to another shelter nearby. Once we were settled at the second shelter, everyone was given what looked like an army cot to sleep on. The cot was too small and difficult for me to move on. I was told that there was an accessible cot available, but even the accessible cot was only a few inches wider and no easier to navigate. I slept in my wheelchair that night. The next night in the shelter, a volunteer brought an air mattress for me to sleep on. Are there accessible shelters? Yes, but you must sign up in advance and go through a lot of red tape. Also, accessible to some does not necessarily mean accessible for all. Everyone's access needs are different. The second time my roommate and I evacuated, we thought we had a plan in place. We knew which shelter we were going to. I brought my own air mattress, medical equipment, and medication. The shelter staff had me check in with the nurse that they had on site. The issue was that the shelter volunteers were not trained on how to help disabled individuals at the shelter. They also did not listen when I instructed them on the proper way to lower me down onto the air mattress I had brought with me. There was no guarantee that the staff at the accessible shelter would have either. When we finally returned home, I had bruises on my body along with other injuries. I currently do not have an accessible vehicle, and if we were under a mandatory evacuation order, it would mean leaving in my roommate's car. My costly, customized motorized wheelchair would have to be left in our apartment, and I would have to use a very uncomfortable and sometimes painful travel wheelchair for however long we were gone. It would also mean finding and checking into a hotel as shelters are no longer accessible for me. I now know that I am severely immunocompromised and cannot risk being around a large group of people and possibly exposed to numerous illnesses. I also have dietary needs that would not be met at a shelter. Hotels are expensive, and as a disabled person, I do not have disposable income, nor can I expect my roommate to foot all because if we chose not to evacuate, we would be on our own, forgotten. So many disabled individuals are left behind and an afterthought when it comes to disaster preparedness. Oftentimes, the bare minimum is done by those making decisions and is viewed as acceptable. Disabled individuals and their needs should always be prioritized, especially when it comes to disaster preparedness.